My beloved child, if these words have reached you today, they have not arrived by chance. There is something hidden that has remained in the shadows for far too long, and today, the first layer begins to fall away. Stay with me for a moment, because what you are about to hear has quietly shaped the distance between your family and your soulmate's family for longer than anyone realized. Everyone believed the separation happened because of misunderstandings, pride, or unfortunate timing. But the truth is far more unexpected. There was someone standing silently in the middle, carefully guiding conversations, twisting simple moments into painful memories, and planting doubt where trust once existed. No one noticed because they never appeared as the source of conflict. They smiled when others watched, yet behind closed doors, they gently pushed hearts further apart. As this unfolds, clarity will come. You may suddenly remember strange moments that never made sense before. Conversations that ended differently than they began, decisions that felt unlike the people you knew, and unexpected silence where love should have spoken. Something huge is waiting for you, because the story everyone believed is beginning to change. Imagine two families who were never truly meant to become strangers. Every missed opportunity, every delayed meeting, every small misunderstanding seemed like ordinary life. But what if those moments were carefully encouraged by someone who feared what would happen if these two families finally stood together? That person understood one powerful truth: united hearts are difficult to separate. Instead of creating obvious conflict, they relied on whispers, assumptions, and carefully timed words that sounded believable enough to be accepted without question. Your soulmate often felt something was wrong but could never explain it. They sensed that important pieces of the story were missing, yet every attempt to uncover the truth seemed to lead to another dead end. This may resonate as we continue, because sometimes the greatest deception is not built on lies alone, it is built on incomplete truths that appear completely harmless until years later. Then something happened that nobody expected. A forgotten conversation, an overlooked detail, and a single unexpected discovery began connecting pieces that had remained scattered for far too long. One person finally questioned why the same misunderstandings always seemed to appear whenever both families were getting closer. Patterns emerged where everyone had once seen coincidence. The more they looked back, the clearer everything became. Words had been changed before reaching the next person. Intentions had been misunderstood because someone quietly encouraged the worst possible interpretation. Moments of kindness had disappeared before they could reach the people who needed them most. Suddenly, the impossible started becoming believable. The distance between both families had never grown naturally. It had been carefully encouraged by someone who hoped the truth would never be uncovered. Your soulmate has been carrying unanswered questions for much longer than anyone realizes. Deep inside, they never completely accepted the version of events they were given. There was always a quiet feeling that something important had been hidden from them. That feeling refused to disappear because truth has a remarkable way of leaving small clues behind, even when people try to bury it. Today, those clues are beginning to form a complete picture. The person responsible believed time would erase every trace of what they had done. Instead, time preserved the evidence inside forgotten memories, unexpected conversations, and silent observations that nobody valued until now. Stay with me for a moment, because the next step in this journey reveals not only who benefited from the separation, but also why they believed keeping both families apart was the only way to protect their own secret. And here is where everything begins to shift. The exposure itself is not the ending, it is only the beginning of a much greater revelation. Once hidden motives come into the light, every painful chapter starts making sense in ways nobody imagined possible. Hearts that carried confusion may finally discover peace. Questions that remained unanswered for years are preparing to receive answers that no one expected. But the biggest surprise has not been revealed yet. The identity of the person is only one piece of a far larger story, because the reason behind their actions has the power to transform everything you believed about this connection. Something huge is waiting for you, and what comes next will challenge every assumption that has existed from the very beginning. A quiet truth is beginning to rise, and this is where the story becomes even more surprising. What seemed like a single act of interference was actually part of a much deeper pattern. The person who quietly divided your family and your soulmate's family never expected anyone to connect the pieces. They believed that with enough time, everyone would accept the distance as normal. But time has a way of revealing what people try to hide. Stay with me for a moment, because every forgotten detail is now leading toward one undeniable conclusion. Your soulmate has started noticing memories that no longer fit the story they were told. Conversations once dismissed as ordinary suddenly feel different. Small moments that seemed meaningless now carry an entirely new meaning. As this unfolds, clarity will come, and the picture is becoming impossible to ignore. The most unexpected discovery is that the separation did not benefit both sides equally, it mainly benefited one hidden individual. While both families carried confusion, someone else quietly gained exactly what they wanted. They enjoyed seeing trust replaced with uncertainty because uncertainty made it easier to influence everyone around them. But every carefully built illusion has one weakness: it depends on people never comparing their experiences. The moment honest conversations begin, the illusion starts to crack. This may resonate as we continue, because someone from both families is finally asking the questions that should have been asked long ago. Those questions are leading toward answers that have remained untouched for years, and each answer is stronger than the last. If this story is keeping you wondering what happens next, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter, and if this journey has captured your attention, share this video with someone who enjoys powerful stories filled with mystery and hope. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment about the moment that surprised you the most so far. The next revelation connects everything in a way that very few people could have predicted. Something huge is waiting for you, and every step forward brings the hidden truth closer to the surface. Now the atmosphere is changing completely. The person who believed they had erased every trace of their actions is beginning to sense that the truth is catching up. Tiny details they overlooked are quietly resurfacing through old memories, forgotten messages, and unexpected conversations between people who never compared their stories before. Your soulmate can feel that something important is about to be revealed, even if they cannot yet explain why. They are no longer accepting appearances, they are searching for reality. And what they are about to discover is not simply who stood between the two families, it is why that person was so determined to keep both sides apart. That reason changes everything, and once it is revealed, nothing about this story will ever look the same again. Everything changes from this moment forward. The hidden story is no longer staying hidden, because someone has finally uncovered the one detail that was never supposed to be found. Stay with me for a moment, because this discovery does not simply point toward a person, it reveals a motive that explains years of confusion. As this unfolds, clarity will come. The one who quietly created distance between your family and your soulmate's family was never acting without purpose. Every misunderstanding, every delayed conversation, every moment of silence was designed to keep both families from seeing the truth together. They knew that if both sides ever spoke openly, their carefully built story would begin to fall apart. Your soulmate is beginning to see the past through a completely different lens. Moments that once felt painful now seem strangely connected. They remember times when someone insisted, "It's better not to bring that up," or encouraged people to assume the worst instead of asking simple questions. Those words seemed harmless then, but today they feel very different. This may resonate as we continue, because the greatest turning points often begin with the smallest forgotten memories. One honest conversation is now revealing more than years of silence ever could. The walls that kept both families apart are starting to crack, not because of anger, but because truth is finally finding its voice. Then comes the revelation that nobody expected. The person who caused the division is realizing that their influence is fading. The people they once guided so easily are beginning to trust their own hearts instead of old assumptions. Questions are replacing certainty, and those questions are leading directly toward answers that have been waiting for this exact moment. Something huge is waiting for you, because the closer everyone gets to the complete truth, the harder it becomes for the hidden story to survive. Even your soulmate feels that a chapter is quietly coming to an end, while another one is preparing to begin. But the greatest surprise has still not arrived. There is one final piece that has remained locked away until now, a piece so unexpected that it connects every strange event from the very beginning. Once that final truth is revealed, both families may finally understand that they were never truly divided by fate. They were separated by a carefully constructed illusion that can no longer withstand the light of honesty. And when that last piece falls into place, the future of this connection may look completely different from anything anyone imagined. The final pieces are finally moving into place, and this is where everything begins to make sense. Stay with me for a moment, because what seemed impossible at the beginning of this story is now becoming impossible to ignore. The hidden influence that kept both families apart is growing weaker with every honest conversation. As this unfolds, clarity will come. People who once avoided each other are beginning to compare memories, and they are discovering something remarkable: many of the painful stories they believed for years were never complete. Every missing detail is pointing toward the same source, and the truth is becoming stronger than the confusion that once divided everyone. Your soulmate is also reaching an emotional turning point. Instead of focusing on the years that were lost, they are beginning to focus on what can still be restored. They understand that genuine connections cannot remain hidden forever. The person who quietly created distance underestimated one powerful force: truth has a way of returning when the time is right. This may resonate as we continue, because even after long seasons of misunderstanding, a single sincere conversation can change the direction of an entire story. The silence that once protected the secret is disappearing, and with it, the fear that kept everyone apart. If this journey has kept you wondering what comes next, subscribe so you don't miss the final chapter, share this video with someone who enjoys meaningful stories, and leave a comment telling me which revelation surprised you the most. Your thoughts become part of this journey, and there is still one final truth waiting to be uncovered. Something huge is waiting for you, and the ending is closer than ever. Now the hidden story stands on the edge of complete exposure. The one who believed their actions would remain unnoticed is watching everything they built slowly unravel. Questions are turning into answers, assumptions are giving way to understanding, and hearts that once carried doubt are beginning to find peace. But one final revelation still remains, the moment that explains why this entire chain of events began in the first place. When that truth comes into the light, both families will finally see the full picture, and what happens next has the power to reshape the future in a way that no one thought possible.